Ten Hag out. Where do you stand on this? Genuinely, where do you stand on this? Many Man United fans have had enough. Many Man United fans think he is a major problem. And I'm going to list them off. Stay with the show, by the way. Don't just overreact and run away. Listen to what's going to be said. I genuinely mean that. The best community out there. Please do me the courtesy of listening to what I've got to go through here. Been thinking about this and reflecting on it a lot in the last 12 plus hours. There's a lot that you can level at Ten Hag as to why we've started this season so poorly. There is heaps to criticize, and rightfully so. The in-game management from the manager has been poor for a while now. When to make the substitutions, dropping a player a bit deeper, pushing the line up, or dropping the block a little bit deeper to adapt to your rivals. It's been poor from Ten Hag. His ability to create a team that can handle pressure. We're not good at it. We start games well, or we have good moments, but maybe we concede. Maybe a decision doesn't go our way. Players start throwing their arms in the air. Their heads go down. And for me, when you look at the body language, you can see people that don't truly believe. And whether it's they don't believe in the system or they don't believe in themselves, the manager's not getting their heads up. He is not creating a mentality of elite winners. Starting lineups. He's starting the likes of Eriksen and Rashford in the same team, who probably are our two biggest issues when it comes to pressing, is a problem. Some of his signings are definitely questionable. Anthony. Mason Mount's only played 2 games, but a lot of us are very unsure about that. At the moment, there's a lot of criticism of Onana. Actually, should we have kept David De Gea? Should we have focused that money on a better goal scorer up top? Rasmus Højlund looks decent, but he's young. There's a player in there. But is he ready to score 25 goals, 30 goals a season straight away? Last campaign, a lack of goals was we came third and we won a trophy. But so many games we could have killed off if we had more killers up front. There's lots of things to criticize the manager about. And we were all hyped about him before he came in. We all said, get rid of Oli, bring in a top manager. Ten Hag was probably top by about a poll of about 80% of Man United fans to be the man to replace him. And we all believe, bring him in, invest in him, and you'll see better football, a better team, a winning team developed. He's so exponentially better than Oli, one of the best available managers in the world. Bring him in. We all said this. And now we're calling him a catfish and a fraud. We're rightfully criticizing problems that he is responsible for. And I understand that. But should he be sacked? Should we want him out? My answer is I don't see the point. Now, I know what the default reaction to that is going to be. Oh, Terry defending the manager again. Terry doesn't want Ten Hag criticized. That's why I started the first 3 minutes of this video criticizing things he gets wrong. And there's probably more. You've probably got dozens more things. Oh, I didn't mention favoritism. Should drop Rashford and Bruno when they're playing badly as well. I agree with that. 100% agree. But the difference, I think, between me and a lot of the Ten Hag out brigade is that I've just been doing this longer. I've been around longer in terms of on the social media scene, listening to what fans say. And I've seen this movie before. I'm hearing the same things being said. How does De Zerbi get the best? How did De Zerbi get more out of a group of players that you would probably say collectively are less talented than Man United? It has to be on the coach. We've said that about every manager for the past decade. It's definitely a great question. But for me, this is intrinsic, systemic attitude problems at the club. 110%. I blame the Glazers and instantly the kickback, especially from rivals. And you have to ask yourself this, Man United fans, why do rivals want to shut down conversations about the Glazers and only focus on the managers, only focus on players? Why? Dig deeper. Do you really think rivals are trying to help Manchester United? Guys, don't focus on the Glazers. They're not the problem. Focus on sacking the manager and getting rid of whoever the manager is in charge, their favorite players, and you'll do better. You see my issue with this? I understand the criticism of the managers, and it's right. But I said this about Ollie, and I said it about Jose, and I said it about LVG. I didn't, by the way, say it about David Moyes, because at this point, we didn't have as much evidence. But sacking the manager and not changing the way we're run as a club will not improve us. De Zerbi wouldn't be doing this at Brighton if Tony Bloom and his team around him over the past decade or so hadn't created a winning culture, pound for pound, a culture to win, a culture to play great football, a culture that promotes brilliant behaviors from its players, a system that has transcended through multiple managers and has consistently got better and better as the club strives to continue to grow to the elite level to win trophies. Look at the team that's behind Pep Guardiola at Man City. They didn't come in with Pep. They were there before. Jurgen Klopp's brilliant team. So many Liverpool fans account a lot of that to Michael Edwards. He joined the club in 2011, many years before Klopp, and they were building towards something. I stand by this now. And if I'm wrong, I'll be proud to be wrong. You could bring in De Zerbi, Pep, Klopp, get a time machine and go back and hire Fergie or Brian Clough or Shankly or Busby. None of these people, with the current individuals running our club and managing us at board level now in 2023, will make us serial winners. You will get knee-jerk reactions. You will get short-term improvements. You can win some trophies, but we will never be sustainable. And we can continue to focus on, if we get rid of Bruno and Rashford, if we get rid of Fellaini, if we get rid of Cleverley, if we get rid of Welbeck, we need a better striker than Chicharito. We need a better midfield than Schneiderlin and Schweinsteiger. We need better than Martial. If we get rid of Paul Pogba, the virus will be gone and the problems will improve. See, Sancho's a flop. Sell him and we get better. Rashford doesn't have any intelligence. Get rid of him. McFred are the problem. Get rid of McFred. Don't play McFred anymore and we become better. We've been saying this for a decade, people. Somebody said to me they feel sorry for Jadon Sancho because Man United always ruin technically gifted football players. And I understand that logic, but I'm not focused on individual players and feeling sorry for them. I'm focused on my club. We do ruin those players. We also don't improve the lesser players regularly enough. We also have every manager that comes in gets burnt. And I asked a question yesterday, why does this continue to happen? Why is there a lack of quality management, good in-game tactics, mentality from the players, and why is there always a regression in consistency and ability from the very best players to the worst? Why has this happened 5 times on the bounce? And how does sacking Ten Hag fix this? Answer me that question. And the only answer that I got that was closest to the truth was, well, maybe Terry, we've just picked 5 managers on the bounce. It's 7 if you include the interims of Giggs and Ragnick, but with 5 permanent managers, maybe we've just appointed the wrong people. Either managers that were over the hill or never quite good enough. And that is a fair piece of analysis. That actually makes logical sense. But then I ask you this question. You always have to go one deeper when you're trying to resolve a problem. How do we then trust the same group of people who appointed Moyes, Giggs, LVG, Jose, Ollie, Ragnick, and now Ten Hag? If the only problem at the club, there is no viruses, there is no mentality issue, there is no major toxicity, the owners are not a problem, the ground leaking, the standards, everything's fine. We have just picked the wrong manager. I'm going to sit in your world and believe you. This is not me being sarcastic. This is me being constructive. I'm sitting in your world. I agree with you. Ten Hag's a problem, as were the previous managers. How the hell are we trusting this board to hire the next one? That there is my problem with all of this. I'm not disagreeing with the symptoms of the issues that you see, but we're fighting about the symptoms and not the root cause problem. And I understand. There was a comment that I liked earlier on today, or I might have bookmarked it. I've got to go and find it now because it was significant to me. Mark Goldbridge came out and said, now is not the time to turn on Ten Hag. Van Gaal, Jose, Oli all went through the same way, and we've always ended up back here. All the frustrations have been channeled towards the ownership now, no matter how bad it gets on the pitch. And I agree with Goldbridge on that. Adam here quote tweets and says, if we don't turn on the manager, then we need to blame it on someone because it's unacceptable. We can't defend the manager and defend the players. Those two can't happen at the same time. The real culprits are the ones who dared criticize and speak about it in the mainstream media. What do we? I don't even understand it to a degree. But I'm not saying don't turn on the manager. Again, I would go one further. It's not about not turning on the manager. It's about focusing on the real problem. So you can want Ten Hag sacked, but that shouldn't be. But doing that doesn't resolve the problem, in my opinion. We have got 6 previous examples of just sacking managers hasn't fixed this. That is if, and I'm putting context on this because I know that some of the comments will say, but Terry, you thought we'd improve this year. Terry, you rate Ten Hag. This is not about my opinions. This is about facts. And what I'm doing is putting my opinion to the side and using critical analysis and an objective point of view. I'm going to agree with you for argument's sake that Ten Hag's the problem here. The owners aren't an issue in terms of the way we're run. But surely you have to concede there's a problem in them picking a talented enough manager to make it work. So for me, until we've got different people making that assessment, even in your world where the manager's the problem, we won't get better. The reality of this is, and Gary Neville gets this absolutely spot on, in my opinion, is that this is on the Glazers. Not the individual game. So of course they didn't pick the team yesterday. They don't do the training drills. They don't do any of that. That I understand, that I concede 110%. But what Gary Neville said here is right. He says, oh, and yes, the Glazers are responsible. It's how it works. You own the business and everything good and bad sits with you. They inherited the best in all areas. They've overseen 10 years of mediocrity off the pitch and on the pitch. They set the culture of greed, ill discipline, indecision, and uncertainty that runs right through the club. It would be the best if they would sold the club with some speed and efficiency and allowed at least the off-the-pitch items to be corrected properly that resets the tone and culture. Football is violent, so results on the pitch can be erratic, so volatile. So results on the pitch can be erratic and cyclical. But if the off-the-pitch stuff, including the ownership, direction, and leadership are spot on, it gives you a better chance to succeed on the pitch. And this is absolutely right. But of course, again, the only people that will really shut this down generally are rivals. Some Man United fans will, but predominantly it will just be rivals. And let me ask you this question again. Do they really have the best interest at the club at heart? I am all for sacking Ten Hag if we genuinely believe that the next manager consistently moves our levels up and we become a top team again. But if we're not going to get back to those levels, I just don't see the point of wasting energy in that area. For me, it is futile. It is like King Canute shouting at the tide, demanding it go out or come in to his command. It's uncontrollable. It will have it's like turning up. Sacking Ten Hag, in my opinion, is the equivalent, in terms of fixing Man United long-term, is the equivalent of turning up to a catastrophic earthquake with a dustpan and brush and really thinking you're making an impact. I want your opinions on this, people. Should Ten Hag be out? Will that fix the problems at the club? Will it make Man United a competitor on a regular basis again? I need your opinions, people. Speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.